Hi, juniors. Okay, we are done with the opinion essay, and now we get to dive into the wonderful, exciting world of figurative language. I can feel your excitement from here. All right, so let's dive in. You can follow along on your note sheet and fill in the blanks as we go. You will definitely want to make sure that you have these down because this is your running record of definition as you're working to incorporate these into your essay. Our first term that we have is an alliteration. Now, we talked about this when I handed out Pittman's pet peeves, and an alliteration is the repetition at close intervals of the initial consonant sounds of accented syllables or important words. Right? Basically, what does that mean? Well, that means that when you have two words that are near each other, right next to each other, or separated by a vowel that you don't hear, that they have the same consonant sound. So take a look at map and moon, same consonant sound. Kill and code, not the same letter, but they have the same sound. Your focus is on the sound, not the letter. Here's another one. Preach and approve. Now take note, you wouldn't think that because it starts with an A and this one starts with a P that they would be an alliteration, but they are because this is your first stressed consonant sound in P, the preach, and then if you say the word approve, the A you don't really even hear. So your first stressed consonant sound that you hear is a P. So preach and approve basically sound like an alliteration sound together. Now take note that these are consonant sounds. Vowels are not alliterations. They only have to do with consonant sounds. Next we have onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia is the most fun to say of all of the figurative language terms, and that makes sense because onomatopoeia is when you are saying the word that supposedly mimics the meaning of their sound. So words like boom or click or plop or beep or any of those, buzz, when it sounds like the actual sound when you say the word, that's called onomatopoeia. So whoosh, that would be another one of onomatopoeia. A metaphor. Now, in my experience, I found that people typically confuse metaphors and similes the most, so pay special attention here. A metaphor compares two unalike things, and it describes one thing as if it were something else, and this is the key. It does not use like or as. It always says something is something else or something was something else. So here's an example. Life is a highway. Now we know that life and a highway literally don't have much in common. But we also know that when we're looking at it figuratively, that you could think of life like a road, or there's lots of adventure through life as you go down the path or the road of life. That's the figurative metaphor. So a simile is the same idea. It makes comparison between two otherwise unlike objects or ideas, but it connects them with the words like or as. So that's where our focus wants to be here when we're looking at similes, is that it's on using the word like or as. So here's your example. I was as hungry as a horse, okay? Hopefully you don't think that a horse and I have a lot in common, and if you do, keep that to yourself. But you know that horses eat a lot of food. So when someone says, I was as hungry as a horse, it just means that they were really, really hungry, right? So this is your simile, though, because it's using the comparison saying like or as. Then you have your hyperbole. This is the best thing you've seen in a million years. Not really, but a hyperbole is an extreme exaggeration that enhances the meaning of an idea, and it's used to show feelings and emotions. So things like, I told you 1,000 times. That's a hyperbole. When someone says, I was so embarrassed, I died, or I died of embarrassment, that would also be a hyperbole. You didn't actually die of embarrassment, right? That shirt costs $1 million. It doesn't literally cost $1 million, but it's an extreme exaggeration. And then we have personification. That's our last one and probably the one that you're the most familiar with. Personification is when we give human traits to a non-human thing. Take note that it is just a non-human thing. It can be an animal, it can be a plant, it can be things that are living, they just aren't human. So an example would be like the wind whispered its greetings, or the birds sang their hellos. Now, we know that wind can't actually whisper, but that would be our personification. We're giving the wind those human qualities. So now that you know your figurative language terms, your assignment for next block is I want you to create some original alliterations, similes, metaphors. You're coming up with 2 original examples of all of these figurative language terms. So I should find 14 figurative language examples total because you're doing 2 for each one, and you are not going to the internet and looking up similes, metaphors, alliterations. I want you to come up with them on your own because that shows me if you really understand these. So step 1 is you're going to type this out. You can do this on your iPad. Then you're going to put it into eBackpack, and then you're going to go to turnitin.com. You're going to log in the way that you know how, and then you're going to just take it off of Pages, you're going to copy it, and you're going to paste it right into that box where it says copy and paste in the assignment submission. So you can do all of this right on your iPad, and this is going to be the way that you're able to submit this assignment. So I will look forward to receiving these from you, and I hope that you enjoyed your first video.